Hi, I'm Taylor Spivey, and this is my video on my Ring doorbell. Brief overview of the setup. I have my laptop right here and the Raspberry Pi plugged into an outlet facing towards my front door. This would allow me to see anyone leaving or entering the apartment. And yeah. A brief overview of the code. We will start off with the mask image function. So we first use this interactive tool to find the points from the overall photo that we've taken. That will narrow down the area so that we don't get movement responding to us in places that we don't want it to be coming from. So I'll show an example of that in a little bit. We then do the points to actually do the masking, and here is actually doing the masking and making grayscale. Grayscale is going to take out a lot of the exotic colors and make it easier to detect when somebody's actually in the space. We then begin a loop that essentially will never end, and we are taking photos and videos we're taking two photos and comparing them every couple of seconds, and the photos are compared in this right here. You can see they're subtracting, and if it's greater than the pixel threshold, it goes pixel by pixel. If it's greater than the threshold, then it will set something off. I will then do the detector total, which will then set off the system to actually take the video. It will record a 15-second video, which will then be saved to the computer, and it then begins the process all over again. Unfortunately, I could not get the Dropbox portion working, so I will not be able to email the video to the person. This picture shows what the camera would be seeing in totality. However, with the mask, we make sure it is only looking at the door portion and this little rug right here, and I will demonstrate that now. So we run the code, and it will begin taking the pictures and comparing them. As you can see by the picture, the stove is in the camera's view. I will come here and stand for a second. And when we come back over, we can see that it still hasn't detected anything. However, mimicking a person who may be leaving or coming in from the door, if we come over here and stand for a second and give it a second to really pick us up on the video, we can come back over and see that it has detected that something's there, and it's begun the 15-second video, which will then save. You can see that the video has saved, and then it starts doing the whole thing over again, and nobody's there, so it's detecting nothing. Here we can see the video that was taken, and you can see me standing at the door, and at the bottom it will tell you the date, tell you it's the doorbell, and also give the time. Because I was unable to set up the email, I will not be able to show that. However, essentially you would just add at the end of the if statements for if it sees somebody, you would add after it to go through the steps to send the email to somebody. And if you were able to set up the texting portion of the project, you would also be able to text to them. This would all just go right in the if statement by following the instruction of Dr. Mitchell. The kernel size and detection threshold values were all trial and error based. You saw what worked best, what didn't set it off when you didn't want it to be set off versus what did. You didn't want it picking up little things and making that set it off. That would just annoy people. You have to set it to the right thing so that when it's a person or when it's an animal or whenever you want it to go off, you have to set it in order for it to go off at that time. So there's a lot of trial and error in determining those. The time delay between the first and second image, you obviously want that to be as fast as possible, at least in my mind. So the way you do that is trying to limit the code that has to run so that there's less processing time to get from one picture to the next picture. And the way we did that was, in many ways, we moved things that could have been done into the if statement to only be done if it was needed to be done and not just for the sake of having it be done. and things like that cut down on that time a lot.